Hi there, good morning. Welcome to Sunnyside Journals and a little bit of work for 'tis the season. I'm still, of course, working on Mrs. Cratchit's holiday household book. Where are we here? Let me grab it. I got a bit more work done since the last time we were together. We did this together. I'm very happy with that. Now I did some inking. If you recall, I said I have a lot of tedious inking to do. So I want to show you what you can do just with ink. So I have this old, it's an insurance portfolio. Found it thrifting. And I really like these envelopes that are in it. So I want to put one of these envelopes maybe as a tip out, I think. I'm not sure. Or else I may put it in the way this one's been done and just put some strings so that it can be lifted out or put back in. So this is what I started with. Put this aside. That's what I started with. And I played with distress ink. And this is what I created. So this is with distress ink. So going around the edges and then using my spills and blotches stencils, and you can create quite an old looking envelope. This already is old. It smells fantastic, but I want it to look even older. So I see what I mean. Isn't that awesome? I even put a few spills on the inside. Maybe she was working in her book while she was having a cup of tea. So I've done that inking. I'm going to put this back in here. I'm only going to use one. So have fun with your distress ink. I cannot overemphasize how important, if you're making a journal that you want to look old, that's your best friend. Especially if you want the paper smooth. Tea and coffee is also a best friend, but it would not stay this smooth if I had put it into a tea or coffee bath. Now I want to, I pulled out a page out of my Victorian Cakes book, and it was also looking quite new, this color. And so I have aged it as well. And I want to use it, a goodly portion of this, as an end paper. And then another thing I inked. Let's open this up so you'll be able to see where it is I'm talking about that I plan on putting this. So let me move this up a bit. I plan on putting it here. I still haven't decided about the checkerboards, but I like this scrapbook paper, so I will be cutting it to size and inking it, and we can do that together today so that you can see how you will go about inking scrapbook paper so that, again, nice and smooth. And then I played with our file folders. Remember the file folders that I wanted to make into a couple of tuck spots, or maybe a flip out, tuck spot and a flip out. So what I did was I put a gusset on this, the bigger one that's going to go in behind. So it's going to go right here. And with the gusset, it will be able to hold a little bit more. And the gusset's quite easy because I simply use, I do have a scoreboard and a bone folder, and I could make the scoreboards, but it's also just as easy if you've got file folders. It's done for you. See right there? It's already scored. Those lines are already ready for you to go. So I just folded them up, cut the size that I wanted, and then put it all together. I inked it because that's still going to be showing. This part of the gusset will still be visible from the side. So it all gets inked. So that would go like that. Now this, I'm going to do a bit of hand stitching. So I'm going to put that on there like that to hold that as if she's sewn it. It's actually going to get glued in there, like that, so it becomes a hinge. Sorry, holy crow, let's go up a bit. So it's going to be hinged. I'm going to glue this in above, and that way it can flip back and forth. That's the plan. So let's do some exciting inking and get this done. So I already know, I've already measured that this is how wide I want my end papers. So if I do it there to there, that is good. So I'm going to move this book. I don't want to work on it as if it's my mat. I guess the worst that can happen is it just gets grungier, right? But I want to control my grunge. So I'm just going to measure myself off how wide I want this to be. I like this bit of dirt here in this corner, so that's why I've chosen this side. Let's move that. Hope you're doing well. I hope you're enjoying all the wonderful December dailies that so many of the junk journalers and mixed media and artistic journal people have been posting. It's my favorite time of the year for that sort of thing. I'll put this aside. So this is going to be the end paper for one side. I do think I'm going to switch it up. She's making use of whatever she can. So in addition to that ad for that confectioner's place, I will be putting a different scrapbook paper. I think this one on the other side. I like this one because it's a very similar kind of washed out red as this book that I will be transforming. So let's work on this. Let me get some paper to put underneath it. There we go. This will work. Linen Distress ink. I always keep my old Distress ink pads because they're still good for doing this with, and then I don't dry out my newest one that I love. Now, I know you can re-ink your Distress ink pads. I find that there's just still, they're never the same as just a new pad. So I have tried refilling, like rehydrating my Distress ink pads, and I would just rather put out the money and get a whole new one. I've learned for me. But I keep the most recent old one so that I can do this with it. And it gives that nice yellowish glow. This is antique linen. Gives a nice, tones down that white. I don't want the white. Now some of this will be hidden underneath the file folder tuck spots. There we go. So that's all nice and yellow. Hold on, I'll grab the other side so you can see the difference that it makes. Where'd you go? There you go. See the difference with the antique linen distress ink? It's nice. Now, gathered twigs. First, I'm going to do this edge. There we go. And now I'm going to, of course, drama. I want it really nice and dark. This is an old book. Maybe by the time we're seeing it, Mrs. Cratchit's daughter Martha has used it as a young wife, raised her family, and passed it on to her daughter Martha, and so on. I know that's the way it worked with the Bible that was on my mother's side of the family. You could tell the things that were put in by the original owner, because the original owner was my great-grandmother's aunt who raised her. So she was pretty well her mother. In fact, she listed her as her mother because her mother died very young. And she was quite young when her mother died. So her aunt was the only mother she knew. Her name was Catherine. And you could tell the things that Catherine had put into this Bible when she originally had started writing in it was 1819. And then you could tell when Annie Dorsey, her adopted daughter, who was her niece, but very much a daughter, when she took over and started putting things in, you could just tell a new era of dates on things and such. And her own children's things. And then you could tell when my grandmother started tucking things in here and there. The age of the news clippings changed. The style of the artwork for little bookmarks and little notes and that changed. Now I want a bit darker on the corners. I am going to come in with a little bit of walnut stain. I really want it quite dark and grimy. Now the walnut stain is a slightly different shade, so in case you're wondering, well, why didn't you just use walnut stain the whole time? It's a different shade, so I just wanted a little bit of it on those corners. I'm not sure yet whether I want to do any stenciling work or whether it's even worth it because of this busy pattern. But I do like this pattern because it looks like what possibly could have been a wallpaper pattern. Now, let's see how this looks. That's nice. Those greens go nicely together. This is a strange green, but I really wanted to use it because it really is an unusual kind of file folder. So that, I'm just checking in behind and seeing if I have mismeasured. Where's my book? Where's my book? And let's see. And then probably, maybe tomorrow, we're going to gut this and make a little junk journal to put into it. I've decided. I forgot to mention that. I don't want this. I thought I was going to use the cover as a tip out, but I'm actually going to make this into a journal. So it's going to be a journal within a lap book. So that's going to go in, but it'll be completely pull-outable, removable. There we go. Pull-outable. All right, I'm just trying to feel where that hinge is. I'm concerned that I have still, that I've still left it too wide. Let's put a brick on here. There. Just so that I can see where this is bending. No, that's going to be good. I want this edge to be clear of the hinge so it itself doesn't start curving and curling. So if that's there, then this will be able to go here like that. I'm probably not in the camera. Oh, this big book. There we go. So that would go there and wherever. Oh, there it is. There it is. And then this one, that's going to be a flip down so that there will be journaling space here, here, and even on here. That will go there, and then this can hold things, actually quite a bit of things. It'll be able to hold a lot of stuff in there. So that, okay, I'm happy with how this is working out. I'm not ready to put it in yet. I want to work on the other side. On the other side, I have some funny things I want to do. And I'm going to have to be strategic with how I work the other side because I have some metal that I want to put on the cover. And that means I'm going to have to put it on first and then put my end papers on top so that you don't see the wings from Brad's. Now, where did our little thing go? Here it is. So there's our ad. I cut a template. Where'd it go? Here it is, front. So I cut a template for this. I think I'm going to glue it right on. I want it slightly askew. So it will go on like that. I want it slightly askew so that it looks like maybe Mrs. Cratchit thought it was pretty, loved going to this little shop, wanted to keep the flyer. She could have been like any one of us who loves fonts. I'll hang on to things that I find simply because the font is beautiful, and maybe she loves fonts and thought this was so beautiful and wanted to keep it and thought the picture of this sugared flower arrangement, we'll never know. But I imagine that maybe she brought it home, she loved it, she had some glue there, and we've all done it. She stuck it down and it was crooked, but no matter. So that's my plan there. And then I plan on recovering parts of it so it all looks cohesive. I'm actually going to tilt it that way. There we go. Like that. I want to strategically cover where it says the Book of Cakes because I don't want that in it. So, and yes, I know I already inked the whole thing. It just helps me get my brain around what visually I'm looking to do. I might put it a little higher up and deal with something down here, maybe some torn paper. I don't mind if this has to be a bit thick eventually, because like I said, I'm anticipating that there's going to be eyelets or screws or things bulking up a bit right here. And so a heavy end paper, it's a lap book, so a heavy end paper would be just fine. All right, let's cut this so that it's askew. And I hope what I'm going to do will make sense to you. And then we'll have to re-ink it. And we love inking, right? All right, let's cut this. Now I'm second guessing which direction I want it to go. Do I want it pointing in or do I want it pointing out? I think I want it the other way. And you might say, why, Catherine, why? I don't know. The heart wants what it wants. And sometimes there's just no explaining what your heart wants. So here we go. Let's do it again. So if I marry that and marry that. I'm sorry if you can't see right now. I'll show you in a second. Okay, so I've put new lines. Now I'm going to marry up this corner with where that line is. And that way I know I'll have that in the direction I want. There. That cut is done, and then we'll do it again. The commitment cut is done. Talk about a commitment cut. I get to go get my hair cut tomorrow. I'm so excited. I'm feeling shaggy. There we go. Now let's fix our inking. I gathered twigs. Cover up that fresh raw edge. So no one will be the wiser what we were up to. Twigs. Just darken that up again. I may do some tea spills on it. Let's call them tea spills because my family that were from London were the avid tea drinkers in our family. So Tim Holtz. It says down here THS009 in case you're thinking, I must have that. I know what that's like. I must have it right now. Pull up Amazon. So I'm just going to put a little tea stain right here. Beautiful. Let's put a few splashes. It's been on the kitchen table while she works. Seriously, I love the splashing. You just have to be careful as ever with stencils that you don't move it or there's very hard to find it again and place it right over top. Let's see. Yes. Oh, that's nice. Let me make sure I'm in. I am. Let me lift it up. Splashes. A little bit more. A little bit more. Let's do it. Just a light one. Nice. Excellent. Maybe do that corner. There, okay. That's good. Now, so what I'm going to do is place it back onto here just so that I can envision what I'm looking to do. That's nice. And don't forget, I'm going to be putting possibly this guy here, but so that he's either a tip out or maybe here he's a tip out like that. Not sure yet. I went ahead and put eyelets on just to give myself options. And even if I don't use them, I think they're kind of cool looking. I should show you what I did. Oh, hold on. Oh, now I gotta find a new one so that you can see what I did. Where's my mess? Here, okay, here's one. So I used one of these. I used, so it's white and silver. And I got out my alcohol inks. I took this ring off. I don't want that ring. I got out my alcohol inks and I made this sort of a brassy color. And then I used my distress ink and made it grungy looking. And then I used a stamp and put some numbers on it. And of course, now, can I find it? Hold on. I can't find it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And I was so excited to show you. Well, we might have to just make another one and do it together. And I'll show you what I made. I can't do it today. But if I haven't found it by tomorrow, we'll make one together. And that's okay too. Because then it will show up, right? As soon as I make a new one, I'll find the old one. All right, so we're going to make a full end paper. So in a way, I'm going to glue this down. I want that covered up. So I may find a way to tear across. And then I'm also going to, this will be split in half. I'm going to use part to make up for what's missing up here, and I'm going to use part to make up for what's missing down here, so that it'll eventually end up being the full length that I need for my end paper, with this being the bulk of the main thing. I'm going to have to look at this a while, figure out how I want to approach this. But now you've sort of got an idea of what it's going to be like. And then, of course, we have to have fun gluing pockets and tuckies and envelopes and things in. So that's the plan. All right, well, thanks for joining me today. I'm going to tear this desk apart and find my really cool aged tag. It's here. It'll show up. Oh. All right. Take care. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk soon. Bye.